All right, so while we're doing a rebuild on the car, Eric is going to install some new cool stuff we got. And
used to be super secret.
Yeah, and I have loved my TBMs. I've had TBMs on the car for season and a half, 2 seasons now, and they've been pretty fantastic. Exceptionally low drag, very lightweight, but there is a well, Strange came on board to help us out for the season, and we got some new goodies from them. So we're gonna be doing their Evo 1 fronts and their Evo 4's rears, because we did do a Strange floater in the rear. So to complement the floater, we're doing the fronts, and I'm pretty excited. I mean, they're pretty cool looking parts. Strange has their integrated front wheel speed, which is a 40-tooth tone ring that's integrated into the front right brake assembly. And I'm kind of looking around right now because I'm like, oh, where'd I put them? Oh, I see them. They're right there. They're out of your reach, Eric. They're just up here. It's that box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll get them. So we're going to do some weight comparisons between the two as we get the TBMs off the car, and then I can compare, you know, designs and see what's kind of cool about them. I've started to get a lot of trust in my TBMs, so I mean, I've got no doubt that the Strange is going to be a great product as well. But I mean, as we always say, you got to try new things to learn new things. So we're going to try this too. Stay tuned. Okay, we got one side mocked up. Putting the pads in is kind of different. So on these, you know, like your old school Stranges, you normally have this bolt comes out, then you have your guide pin in here, like your outside wear sleeve, and then you can top load your pads. Well, in this design, this outboard pad, because it's a floating caliper, actually gets captured in here. So in order to do pads, you gotta take out, boom, boom, boom. You gotta take out 3 bolts. Or at least loosen them up pretty far. But I will say really it fit right up pretty well. I do have longer 12-point bolts for mounting the rotor from my TBMs, which are these guys. And then because the TBM has a little bit thicker rotor hat, so it's about double the thickness of the Stranges. And then for your spindle mounts to help keep your caliper away from your wheels, you've got shims to move everything inboard as needed. And then you would shim your caliper bracket in order to float the, or in order to center the caliper bracket or caliper over the rotor. And then one of the coolest things I do like about the Stranges is the fact that there's no more shimming in order to keep the caliper centered over the rotor. So the caliper floats on the front design, and it is a single piston, so it pushes just right here, and then that applies pressure on both the inboard and outboard pad, so it'll move it over just like a factory setup would. So these are your guide pins right here, and this side has that 40-tooth pickup ring, and then that hole right there is your speed sensor hole. So we'll screw our speed sensor in, and now we'll have, we were reading on just 5-lug bolts, which is what most people do. Well, now we'll have, you know, 6 times, 7 times resolution, 8 times. My math is not that good today, apparently, but a lot more resolution. Both, we don't have any brake fluid or brake pressure on this, so I don't know how well it's going to retract to take it to a 0 drag, but the pads are in there, and we can hear them just barely dragging right now. Everything glides pretty nice. I do have DRP hub savers in here, so if you watch the high speed, I was cranking down this bolt or this outside nut pretty well, and you can extort these guys like 40 foot-pounds now, and then it won't put any pressure or any more drag on the bearing. So basically that hub saver is it's a adjustable threaded collar in there, and it pushes along the inside and outside race of your wheels, or of your wheel bearings. And then I cut the inner lip out of my grease seal back here, so pretty much we've got like a dust shield. It's kind of like a dirt track trick from what I'm figuring out, but taking some of that lip seal away, it reduces drag on the inner. And then with that hub saver in there, you can now preload your bearings, and then you can set your preload bearing clearance so that you have just enough room to run the grease, and that keeps your wheel nice and true, no wobble to it. Yeah, and you can torque this nut down, so you don't have to rely so much on this thing backing off as heat changes and stuff like that. So I mean, obviously we'll run a cotter pin in here and like a locking mechanism to keep it all good and tight, but that's pretty cool. I'll use that hub saver in there. But yeah, so far these things look pretty trick. So now we got this side on. I've got a scale here, and we will weigh the 2 brake kits against each other and just kind of answer that question, and then we'll do some comparisons. I think do you have the other rotor by chance?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see which rotor's bigger to the same size.
Where do we put the clamps? The scales.
Oh, the scales? They're right there on the back hutch. There you go.
We'll just turn both of these on and
so these are the rotors.
hook me up.
So the TBM rotor they've got some slotted play in here, and it can move as it heat cycles a little bit or to help center it up. And then the Evolutions use a floating caliper. So there's a snap ring in here that actually holds this guy in. They say that it helps with warping and distortion. And then it looks like, I'd say the Evo is just a little bit taller. I think it's supposed to be a 1/2 inch larger in diameter. So I guess we see what just the rotors weigh.
Ooh.
These are super accurate, now batteryless
We're gonna go to the
fish scales. I mean, I'm curious what the whole package is gonna weigh.
I know, there's like individual pieces to start getting that overall question too.
All right, let's just see what the rotors weigh.
I'll let you. Okay.
All right, hold on. That on. Here, hold on, don't pull up yet.
Finish watch. Did you make a ticket for that?
No, I didn't. Here, let me. I gotta switch units. Yeah. All right. We may have to redo that part. So the Evolution. Let's see where it ends up at. That's kilograms. That ain't gonna work. Sorry, small technical difficulty.
Oh, okay.
I want to re-zero it.
I re-zeroed this one,
Okay.
so it's at 0.
It's in pounds. This one's in pounds.
Yeah.
All right.
You hit tare instead of kilos.
Okay. Hold on.
So-
Oh, I was just gonna hold it till it's balanced out. Okay, extremely similar. TBM rotor, 3.5 pounds. Evolution rotor, 3.47 pounds. Now, for some of those wondering, this is the spindle mount kit. This is not the normal like 5-lug kit that you would get with your Mustang or anything else. So this was the easiest way to add a front wheel speed sensor for me. I know TBM has reluctor ring kits out for their other studded systems, but I don't think they have one out for the spindle mounts yet. Because I think their other rings have like 16 or 18 teeth on them from TBM. So this was another factor that I kind of liked about the Evos. But yeah, I'm surprised the rotors are that close. It just goes to show you this material that TBM uses for the rotor hat is very, very lightweight.
I'd almost bet, like, I mean, a pretty good chance looking at everything else that the Strange is going to weigh more on the bracketry and things like that, considering it's a full floater. I mean, because the size of the bracket compared to
Yeah, so we'll get these things in boxes and figure out what they weigh exactly.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so to make this fair, since these are used, I'm going to pop them apart and get all the fluid out of them. And then the brake pads on these are about half of what new is. So I'm gonna see if I've got some new pads in the shop here. I know I've got some in the trailer. That's where all your spare stuff should be, right? It's in the trailer. I gotta go ahead and prop these up and let them kind of drip out for a little bit. Okay. All right. I'm gonna find a set of stock pads, see if I got a set. Nope, to the trailer I go. I'm gonna need this later. A little bit of wheel bearing grease. Okay, let me shut it off. Okay, so we're going to put pads in both the strange and the TBM calipers. But for a quick comparison, this is the TBM pad. This is strange pad. Strange is a little thicker. They're both about the same height, but the strange is considerably smaller, I guess about 3/8 of an inch. 5/16 of an inch, yeah. Less width, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna get these set up. The TBM caliper's all drained out. So that way we're going in with dry calipers. And then once I figure out my puzzle here, again. Okay. This is a little easier on the car.
See, that's when I was first looking at it. I was like, it has to go on that other side of that bracket.
Oh yeah. It's a little different. That's for sure. Okay.
Well, having a full floater on a race car is different.
Oh yeah, on the rear?
Mm.
Yeah, I can't wait to put that thing together. And one might ask, why are we doing brakes when the rest of the car obviously isn't ready? I like new shiny things. I really like new shiny things. Okay. So we got our pads in there, calipers drained, we got the fittings in. So this caliper assembly's good to go. And then we need this guy. And then we need the bolts to...
The bolts for that are underneath the sensor. So that's okay. I was trying to separate them.
There they are, right there. Where's that? Okay, great. I'll do it right here. I'll leave that there. Put the TBM back together. I'd like to clean that a little bit more. Still got a little dirt and grime on it.
Well, he sprays. Don't forget to go to CaseyMaxx.com and pick up some new merch. Hoodie and shirt.
It's about the most backward way to do this. That's fully seated. Hello. There we go. Get our cross bolts in here. Oops. Oh, there we go. That's good. You good? Thought I got it. Thought I heard it. All right, let's do this. Bolt it to our bracket. So TBM bracket is pretty dang elegant. There just really isn't any space wasted on this guy.
And this is the area where, if you have the non-spindle mount brackets, where the sensor would go, right?
Yeah, and I think they're still working on a trigger ring setup. I know on their other vehicles it presses onto the wheel hub, and since your spindle mounts are your wheels, there may not be a exacting tolerance or standard across all those wheels. That's probably what's making it difficult. Okay. This is pretty even here. Okay, so I'll just pick them both up. Get our zeros. 0, 0. All right. TBM is going to come in lighter overall.
Which is not by much.
But yeah, even with the difference of the lighter rotor on Strange's side, the TBM's coming lighter on the front. Very similar to about 1/10.5 of a pound. That's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, then there's, and it comes because the caliper for TBM, is it steel or aluminum?
It's some alloy that I don't remember what it is. It's weird. Like everything on the TBM stuff just feels weird.
Well, at least that's one thing we're not really have to account for any kind of weight changes or anything like that. So technically the unsprung weight will stay basically the same.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
shocked.
me too.
I am shocked. I'm guessing a lot of it has to do with the bigger caliper bracket. I mean, TBM stuff, they've got it profiled down so much. You know, down around where centers around the spindle. You know, the caliper's got a lot smaller footprint. Yeah, that is surprising.
And
because in my hands, this feels heavier. But I think it's just because it's more dense and compact.
and the strange stuff is still all aluminum, other than the hardware.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the TBM, this part is a steel, and then the caliper house feels like it's some kind of steel, and then this little thing, I don't think it is. It's a fork. Yeah, there we go. There we have it. Direct comparison. Now we just got to put them on the car and see how it does.
Yeah, and that's the sensor that Strange sent with it.
Yeah.
To go with their bracket kit and their wheel hub, because they're
so screw in Hall effect sensor.
Yeah, not showing it. There's the one, the ring that on the already pressed on, and then the Hall effect sensor with a Deutsch connector.
Yeah. Okay. Well, next thing to compare would be the rears.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a lot harder because the rear caliper or rear rotors are attached to floater ends.
I don't know if that's a good comparison.
Probably not.
Like, just, I mean, the whole change to going to the amazingly beautiful 10 shoulders race car with, like, that 10 shoulders, that center section, or not the center section, but the housing is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to clear coat it and mount it to a wall, but that's me. I said the same thing about the torque boxes.
Jason said just wipe down WD-40, you'll do the same thing.
Be like, what's Eric doing under the car? Polishing. Like.
All right, cool. Well, we'll get the front end all buttoned up, and then maybe drop the housing in it later. So, forward progress is always motivating. So, if we can complete a segment that I want done, then that's pretty cool in my book. All right, on to the next part. Gotta wipe the lens. Okay, so we got the strange brakes on. Got all the bearings lubed back up. Cleaned all that up. Got them all together. Pumped the brakes up. Took all the pressure, or put pressure on everything, bled the brakes out. And they do drag just a little bit. So we will see. I know they're not supposed to be frictionless, but they're supposed to be low drag. And they are pretty low drag. A little more than I want. A little more drag than I want. But we'll give them a shot, see how they feel. If we like them, great. If not, I got the TBMs in the box. And they can go back on the car. But so far, we got them all together. They're on there. And now we're turning our attention. I'm kind of tired of the body work. So we're turning our attention now to doing some of the other upgrades on the car that we want to do that I think are going to help propel us forward in 2024. And that is the biggest thing that was on my docket before I wrecked and needed a whole new body was a housing. So don't mind my temporary welding table by Brute. But my tin soldiers rear end housing with floaters. Pretty excited about those. I welded on some shock mounts, or not shock mounts, but tie down spots. That way we can make quick getaways, or Mexico. So I like to weld on like 3 to 4 foot chromoly sticks on my hooks to go on the rear end housing, and it makes really quick getaways, doesn't it, Eric?
Yeah, I think usually we're pulling out when they're pulling in.
So usually in about 30 to 40 seconds of notification, I can baja my way back into the pit, into the trailer, and either Eric is started pulling out and we're going down the road and I'm just in the box for a minute, or while in motion or while not in motion, I'll strap the car down. Only takes me another like 15 to 30 seconds to put at least a strap on the back and a strap on the cage, and we're done. So
it's been a while since you've done live from the trailer.
Yeah, luckily we haven't been put in that situation much lately. Good security. So we're I just want to see some cool things go in the car. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out the old housing, put this housing in, and I gotta make new 4-link bars. So I'm sure these are gonna be a little bit different on length. And then I'll have to buy some new bar clamps, because I do like to run some differential weight. So usually run 60 pounds as a staple, but we'll see. I mean, with the track stuff, I'm hoping we get away from it altogether, because every time we take weight off the car, it will go faster. If we take weight off the car, especially on the housing or anywhere we don't need it, the car will go faster if we're on a surface that doesn't need it. So we, I kind of want to get this thing in. So I think we're going to take a quick dinner break and put that in, and then I don't know if you're going to see my list, my to-do list here, but it's got some pretty big things to do. We got to mess with the quarter panels. I got to build zoomies. We got to put wheel tubs in the car. Let's see, we centered the body to the chassis, so that's done. Taillight panel's done. I do got to weld all that in there now. I want to take some weight out of the rockers and around the cage area, and then we're going to attach the body to the B pillar and some other parts of the cage with some dimple die plates. Take a cue from the drift guys and road race guys. I gotta still put a rear window in it, which either I can use the factory hinges like I did last time, or I'm thinking this time maybe I'll try something a little bit less weight and maybe try bolting it in on the window rail, or like the water rail. I got to bolt or glue in the front window. Got to hang the doors. So I got to figure out how I want to do that. If I want to take the parts off of my last doors and put them on these new ones. And then I still got to do a wing, not a wang, but a wing, drag wing. And then I still got to do a steering column. So I don't know if anybody's noticed in our snow video, the steering column was flopping around a bit, and it was a whole lot worse. But luckily, some ingenuity, I ended up strapping it to my Holley screen mount and I broke my Holly screen mount off. So this time what I'm gonna do is, I've been wanting to try the Motion Raceworks quick release steering wheel attachment out. So it's really easy to find it, line it up, it looks like. So I'm gonna put that on this to go around when I build a new steering column, which is just a piece of aluminum tube, and reuse my plastic bushings, and then a 3/4 chromolyzed stick. And then I got a screen mount to clamp to the tube. But when I ordered it, I wasn't next to the car, so I'm hoping I got the right tube size. If not, maybe I'll do some grinding or I'll do some ordering. So we got quite a bit to do, to put it lightly. So adding up the days and looking at my work schedule, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. So we're just gonna do what we can. And that's not even including putting a front clip on it still. That's still no front clip. So that's not even like that's not gonna be any body work, it's not gonna be any paint, it's not gonna be anything. It's just gonna be getting it on and running. Raceable. And we're gonna like jump right in the deep end. There's like Cantu's gonna be there, Kai Kelly's gonna be there, Todd Spears gonna be there, Chris Varney's gonna be there. I had all these like hero cards sent to me today on, hey, if you're coming, these are all your competitors. And I'm like, goodness, I'm like, that's a bunch of very tough competition. So I figure might as well do what I want to do to hopefully speed up. So hopefully that does the ticket. And then hopefully us being lighter, and then the front nose cone weighs 68 pounds itself, 65, 68 pounds when we weighed it. So we'll be coming in lighter, less aerodynamic, but lighter. I wonder how well this thing's gonna cut through the air at that mile per hour. I know the number in my head, I'm not gonna say it, of how much mile per hour it'll have on that race. It's a lot. Some people strive to run that mile per hour in a quarter mile. So, oh goodness.
There's certain passes I still don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it.
When I send the draggy through on the group chat, or I show Eric the draggy, or I show Tyler the draggy, like after a pass, and they watch the pass, and sometimes it's just a look of disbelief, and it's just, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. It's like, it's got to be off. And then we go to a place where we get a slip, and it's like,
Nope, that's right.
so.
Well, so many years of watching Brent Self and those guys, and you're like, but it doesn't look that fast, and you're like, okay, you know, like you just can't figure it out. Now I'm like overlaying the passes, and I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, it's just that brutally smooth acceleration from the 60 foot to the 330. So hopefully this helps find my 60 foot numbers. So I have read comments about, you know, we should make sure the body doesn't flex on leave, and my rear window is a big old blah, 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 usually when we leave. So we're gonna do. Come on, Ty.
That's an aerodynamic air release gun, right?
So I'm just airing out the drawers back there, man.
I can almost calculate how much squat it has in the back by how much the window goes up, because the window stays the same and the body goes down. It just okay, move 3 inches, thank you. And I can do that from the back of the car.
I'm gonna make the body stiff. I know we cut out a lot of structure, but we're gonna try to attach it in ways that makes it stiff. And yes, we're not body guys.
Yeah, I apologize.
We're not professional go fast people. No. But we figure it out.
I feel sorry for all the body guys that have to watch this.
Oh, don't watch. Don't watch at all. Don't watch at all.
Fast forward.
Just come over and help. Don't ask. I'll be here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and most evenings, probably Wednesday, Thursday. For sure. Actually, no, we're leaving Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be building the zoomies and bolt them on the car to leave Thursday night. And the worst part is the trailer has like 8 barrels in it.
Oh, fudge.
800 shirts and hoodies. So help me lighten that load up, please. KCMaxPerformance.com. Get some of this merch out of there so I got room. And what else is in there? Oh, I got the quarter skins from the last car, or last body are in there. and I have the carbon doors in there. One's in great shape. One's kind of delaminated. So, anyways, on that note, we're gonna keep on keeping on, right?
Food.
Food. You have any food? Food.
We crave sustenance.
may have just witnessed 3 goofballs trying to install rear end housing without really moving the car around. So we got the new Tin Soldiers housing up in the car. No differential yet. But if you're used to doing gear sets, you would be like, wait, the brakes are on too soon. But the difference is this is a floater. So much like your heavy duty truck, you don't use the axle flange to support the weight of the vehicle, or in our case, handle the extreme acceleration. So that's what this drive hub here is for. You can tell it's got splines in it. So in here, we got a straight shot all the way through under the tie. He's putting the other one on, so he's waving. All right. And then we have the drive hub in. And then you have your normal in the spool end. There are 2 pretty good sized bearings in here, about 3 inches in diameter. And they run just like your normal front axle, where you have an inner and outer bearing. And then they also have a preload sleeve in the middle of it. And then we have these lock collars, kind of like your 9-inch rear ends when you go set the left to right preload on the gear set. So this guy's in. It's a little tight, I'm sure, until it works in. Even before we put the nut on there and really tighten it down, it had some drag to it. So I think it's that big ass lip seal on the inside of it. It's got a little drag on the inner race thing, or seal ride. I don't know, getting late again. Getting a little foggy. So, to drive this thing forward, here, can you grab me that one there, Eric? I'll get the little 3-puck cap off of it. So normally, if you go to gears, you're gonna have this guy. It's gonna be held on by 2 little screws here. And then your axle slides through. Maybe. Maybe.
Partially out, but not all the way. The spine's different size?
I don't know. I was wondering if they're different sizes too. I don't think so. I mean, they definitely don't seem to be the same, because it goes right on that one. That is different. Last one I worked on, they were the same. Because we were able to pull the axle straight out through it, I was pretty sure. I may have to take this lock off. Let's read the instructions some more. Okay, well, I guess they're different. It doesn't say they are, but I mean, this end definitely looks thicker. It's definitely bigger. So yeah, I guess we gotta pull this lock off, and then we can slide the drive hub on, doop, and then it could ride anywhere in this, and then we pull it back out, it seats against there. Is that guy splines right in? I'm just surprised this doesn't. This has to. There it goes. I'm just crazy. I'm just crazy. Yo, that gets her. There we go. Yeah, see? It sounds so nice. There. So now it's in there. Now it's driving. There's a freeze plug on the inside of the axle here to keep your gear oil from falling out. There's an O-ring here to keep that all sealed. So you have 2 bolts to hold that on there, and then when you put your wheels and tires on, which ride back here, you're hunky-dory. Shoot. Eric, let's grab let me tighten this down. I'll just kind of set our wheel on there. Let me get this clamp back over here. There we go. Got it. All right. Fantastic. Yeah, grab me, could you grab me a wheel pretty please?
Try behind you.
Oh, my bad. Cool. I'll throw some bolts in this sucker. Uh-oh. To be found later. And then we're going back through and we're retorquing all this stuff. But it's just mock-up fun time right here. Okay. So we got drive in there. We have a little 3-bolt cap that goes on. So string, sprue trick. We're kind of playing around with the caliper placement before we bolted everything on, and we determined that approximately here will be the most out of the way of our frequent spring adjustments we're always doing and the 4-link stuff. So we don't really put the 4-link a whole lot, but this year we plan on doing it a lot more because there's so many more adjustments with the tin soldiers housing that there are situations where I think that we could do some benefits there, and there are more holes around the normal groupings we run. So normally we are in this bottom hole on the other housing. Well, now we have 3 more holes to go down, 4 more holes to go down. And then normally I try to move the top bar kind of around a zone, but we got some flexibility top or up and down now. Okay, let's set a tire on here. Did I get it? There you go. Yeah, that'll work. That'll hold it. I'm in her welds, they should fit, but you know, stranger things have happened. I'm gonna run myself over here real quick.
Yeah, I never asked the question if a floater housing causes issues with brakes or backspacing fitment. Ooh, watch that fender.
Yeah, I'm trying. Let's get some attachments up top. My little muscles are about done for the day.
Ryan's not usually the tire guy.
They're so dirty. Okay, well that's on there. Yeah, throw a washer on. Throw a lug nutty on. There we go.
Your brakes are gonna get all the air.
They used to. Yeah, really, the rotor's in about the same spot as it was. It's really not much different. Well, now we know if they don't have center caps and they have this thing poking through, we know we're playing with somebody serious. So, if we haven't said it before, those 2 bearings are what supports all of our drive and forward force now. Look at this drawing here. So normally your into your axle housing is this flange here. So where your brakes go on, and then on your 9-inch stuff, your bearings pressed on, and that outside caliper bracket holds the bearing into the axle tube. And then if you break an axle on this side, you're fine. You won't lose your wheel. But if you break your axle on the outside, then you're losing your wheel. I heard, I guess in Australia or New Zealand, that at 850s in the quarter, which is not that fast in the US. There's pretty limited. Well, I mean, at faster than 850s, you gotta put a funny car in, you know, you got a different license and stuff. But I guess overseas, this is required after 850s. You're supposed to have floaters because of that safety issue. But now when we go to accelerate, these 2 bearings, these yellow guys here, they take on the forward acceleration load, and all the weight of the car is now distributed on this guy. And then this floater end is inserted pretty deep. Like it goes in as deep as the 4-link bracket inside this larger tube. And that really stiffens that whole section up a lot. So on our last housing, we were getting deflection in the tube here. We were getting deflection here where the axle flange would normally be. We were getting deflection from our 4-link brackets actually collapsing in on the housing itself, and we only had a 3-inch tube versus now we have a 3.5-inch tube. So hopefully all this translates into more forward momentum, and you know, that little wiggle we get out of the line or out of the hole when we launch, hopefully this takes care of even more of that, and we can get a more efficient 60-foot without having to really play at all to power management. Hopefully it just goes a little straighter, a little quicker, a little easier. So that's our plan with the floater, and that's why we wanted to get it in before we race again, because I think this is going to be one of those components that really helps speed us up for this year. So I think that's about it for tonight. We're going to toss the air side together. Now we kind of figured out the order of operations. It'll go much quicker.
Thank you.
And
thank you to Strange and Tin Soldiers for,
as Eric said, thank you Strange, thank you Tin Soldiers. Tin Soldiers knocked out this housing for us, and Strange helped us out with the floater kit and the Evo stuff, and I'm pretty excited to try it all. So I'm stoked. Floater kit is freaking awesome. I mean, look at these wheel studs, like rounded.
NASCAR.
Eric says we can bang nuts on and off really fast with this one when we're changing tires between rounds, change the whole wheels. All right, I think that about does it for tonight.